Greetings, clobberers and clobberettes out there. Hey. The few of us who are here tonight anyway, I know it's an early time, so a lot of our friends are probably either not expecting it or I don't know what's going on, but we'll see them eventually. Welcome to Classic. This is a Clobby's Classic Comics review, and it's one we've had planned for a while. And I have a fantastic special guest with me here tonight. My good buddy J-Man and I decided to just take one, just some random comic out of there from 40 years ago, just for the hell of it. Tonight we'll review Batman 321. Welcome, J-Man. Thanks for being here, bud.
Thank you for having me on, man. I'm excited about this. I like these random ones actually because it's kind of neat.
It is. It just kind of popped in there one night, and I thought it would be fun just to kind of do one because it's easy to do. Well, something that's established that everyone knows about. This is a random issue out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's not an insult to the comic. It's just a regular standard issue of a Batman comic from 1980 or whatever. So it is fun. That's a challenge. That's also something we will do every once in a while. Do a random one, of course. We're going to do some big. So I guess you can't call it a Clobby's Classic Comics review necessarily, but it still falls into that category. We'll put it in there anyway.
Yeah.
Just for the hell of it. So, hey, Chris Persia, thank you for being here, buddy. Kal-El, good to see you, my friend. Graham, good to see you guys. Before we get started, a couple of quick show notes. This show will be a relatively shorter than usual review show because I'm doing two shows tonight. I will after we're done with this, which shouldn't take too long. I'm going to come back at a later hour, 10 p.m. Central, so that'd be 11 Eastern, and start off with Jack Kirby month because this is August the 1st. We're just getting started with. I do that every year on Clobbering Times for as long as I've been doing this show, or almost anyway. August, of course, is the birth month of two great men and one dumbass who wastes too many people's time on podcasts. In other words, me. So, in spite of the fact that I was born in this month, the greatest creative force of the 20th century, Jack King Kirby, was, and I will back that up against anybody. Was born. He would be 105 years ago on the 28th of this month, and of course, the creator of the greatest. Science fiction TV show ever made, Gene Roddenberry, on the 19th of this month. So a lot to celebrate. This is Jack Kirby month, but we throw Gene in there because Jack wouldn't mind. Jack likes Star Trek. And we'll celebrate Gene a little bit as well. So all of my comic shows going forward after that this month will have something to do with Kirby. I've got a few things planned. Nothing that's completely ironed out yet. Also, my wild card Wednesday nights will be devoted to Kirby in some fashion. And we'll even do some stuff on the Clubhouse. Now, obviously, Saturday Night Star Trek will stay the same. And just a quick just expression of sadness over the passing of the wonderful Nichelle Nichols.
Yeah.
As Star Trek fans, we all loved her, and she was really important to so many of us. And I talked about that a good bit last night on Mark D's channel, and just warp speed, my lady.
Yeah, she was awesome.
She really was. Beautiful woman.
There's only how many are there's George Takei
3 left,
and
3 of them.
Walter's left. Who else is left?
Yeah. Well, Shatner, Kirk.
Oh, Shatner, of course.
Kirk,
yeah.
Sulu, and Chiku.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
I don't think Shatner's going anywhere, man. That guy's so
Shatner's
active.
gonna outlive all of us.
I think he literally might.
Yeah, he will. Yeah. Hey, Steve Mitchum, what's up, brother? Hope you're feeling better. Hope Maddie's feeling better, bro. Good to see you. And so yes, I'll come back at 10 my time, 11 J-Man's time, I guess it is, Eastern. And kick off Jack Kirby month. It won't be a long show either, but this one again, this is a relatively short comic, but we want to go through it in detail, but it won't take all that long. Yeah. It ended up working out better that way because I have to do something in between the hours of 9:30, 8:30, and 10 anyway. So I guess we're ready to get started, man, unless you have anything to start with. Okay, no, Batman number 321. If I recall the year, I believe it was like 1980. 1980, I think. Now I'm fuzzy
I don't
on
have
the
it
year.
on my I don't have it on my digital copy here. It doesn't have
Yeah,
it.
they don't put it on the digital. Yeah, but it was 1980ish. You can all check that. You know, if I'm getting it wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I was, of course, an avid comic book buyer. And it's funny. I was obviously there were the comics I didn't miss. You know, there was the Fantastic Four and the
Right.
Legion of Superheroes stuff, and your Superman titles usually, and Spider-Man books, and various books that I did not miss. But Batman was also one of them. And I bought the Batman and Detective titles and Brave and the Bold and all that kind of stuff. But I remember this one more distinctly than a lot of others from that time period for some reason. Obviously, it's by the late great Lynn Wein wrote the story. I'm a big fan of Walt Simonson. That's probably something that stuck out. It's got a great, by the way, it has a great Garcia Lopez cover.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Yeah,
Joker's breaking the fourth wall.
Basically. Yes, it's a terrific Jose Luis Garcia Lopez cover. But your interior is by not only Walt Simonson, but the great Dick Giordano. Yep. Simonson's relatively early on in his career right now. He has actually achieved some critical acclaim from a number of years earlier for a backup called Manhunter in the backup Detective Comics, which was great. What he did with Archie Goodwin, if you ever get a chance, and they've compiled it. I think they finally did a trade paperback of that. They've compiled it was a backup detective, and it was a reworking of the Paul Kirk Manhunter from the Golden Age, but he of course looked very different as these 70s characters are. He eventually ended up teaming up with Batman in an issue, but it was a backup and detective many years earlier, and he achieved some note with that. And it's one of my all-time works by Walt Simonson, the Manhunter backup. I highly recommend that. Great book.
I own every DC and Detective Comics and Batman digitally, so I have everything digital for both those series, and Action and Superman. Yeah,
you could track those down because it was a backup in Detective, maybe 4 or 5 years before this, something in mid 70s. It was highly acclaimed critically, and I remember, like I said, they've done a couple of compilations on it, not lately, so you could check those out. Archie Goodwin was a phenomenal writer. But you had Walt Simonson, Dick Giordano on the inks, and of course, I guess there's a certain scene that we will get to that probably is the reason why this thing sticks out of my mind. Plenty of Joker stories, maybe, and certainly, look, I think that the Laughing Fish by Marshall, Steve Englehart and Marshall Rogers and Terry Austin is, I think, a much better story from the definitive Batman run of the Detective Comics from a few years previous to this. But this is a pretty silly, fun Joker story. Yeah. That's a pretty brutal one. Matthew Pounder, good to see you. But this one was memorable somehow.
I also like this logo. I think that's my favorite Batman logo. And I had a watch. It was like I still have it. The band is broken, doesn't work anymore, but I kept the face of it. It's in a special place, so I don't have it on display. But it was this logo. I think the watch date was like 1982 or something, or maybe 81. And my grandfather got it for me, and I loved that watch. I wore it all the time. I wore it to Batman '89 in the theater.
Nice.
And I had my Batman hat, my shirt, all that kind of stuff. So I love this logo. It's a great logo. It's my favorite. I think basically it is my favorite one. There's a couple other ones I like as well, but this one,
it's great.
Just jumps out at me. So
you were cordially invited to the Joker's birthday. Now, I can't remember because I just read this again. It's been a while since I've reread it until recently, but I'm drawing a blank. I don't know if they ever given you any kind of a date in here as far as what the Joker's actual birthday is. No. I don't think they say it.
They don't really say it. And is it true even if it was, right? Like,
yeah, I guess he's been making it up. He's the Joker. It could have been a joke.
Could have been a joke.
I don't know. I have a feeling that the Joker probably was, though. I like to think this is the kind of thing he would do on his birthday to have a little fun, you know.
Yeah.
And so, this story. Look, there are a lot of things in this story, folks. Look, this is 79, 80, whatever it is, that really have some Batman TV show qualities to it. And you're all welcome to welcome to watch the fireworks. Basically, it opens up. The title of the story is "Dreadful Birthday, Dear Joker." I can even hear it in that William Dozer was.
Yes.
Welcome birthday. Was dreadful birthday, dear Joker.
Yep.
Same back time. Yes, another. Yeah. In fact, yes. Here we go. Let's see. Since 1980, since 1889, Gotham Police Headquarters have stood at the junction of the area called 5 Points on the Lower East Side of the city.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that. Created by some guy named Bo Babuga Kanai.
Oh God, we're not created in quotations.
Yes, they believe a name has been left off of there.
There has been a name, yes.
Yes, yeah. Name is left off. But anyway, so Commissioner Gordon is walking in to, again, a great splash page by Walt Simonson into a sparsely populated police headquarters.
Yeah.
And I don't see Chief O'Hara.
No.
But good old, this is, now you have to remember, for those who are newbies to the Batman lore, it was not until 1987, really, when Frank Miller did Batman Year One, that Jim Gordon was the tough guy, was the badass Navy SEAL ass whooping dude that he was.
Yep.
He's just he's a distinguished old police commissioner. I mean, he was no pushover, but he was a hardened cop, but he wasn't like Mr. Badass to the point is you can't they made him sort of point that you couldn't believe the Joker ever kidnapping him because he could whip everyone's ass. I mean, they made a whole stupid TV show about that.
Yeah, I'm not too fond of them kind of doing stuff like that, and even with like Alfred, because like it seems like like why would Commissioner Gordon like I don't know, I just like him being a cop and a detective. Like what's the point? Because why does he need Batman? Like I mean, we got to the point like in that Gotham TV show, for example. Like all these criminals came in, he was defeating them. So you're like, why do we need?
Why was he the Batman? Yeah, he's Bat Gordon. It was so stupid, and that guy was good. He was all right. Cool.
Yeah,
we should have Gordon. I think this is funny. I'll stop that. That's right. Anyway, so he gets Commissioner Gordon. Gets a letter again. Len Wein, writer, Walt Simonson, and Dick Giordano, artist. Linus Wein, the Mrs., is the colorist. Minota on the lettering, and the great master of the Legion. And great DC editor and later president, Mr. Paul Levitz, is on the editing. So this is some really nice art by Walt Simonson. He gets the Joker sends him a little invite. You are cordially invited, cordially commanded to be present at the Joker's birthday party tomorrow evening at 9 p.m. Black tie optional, funny hats mandatory. RSVP.
Look at how disrespectful these officers are. They're laughing away. But wait a minute.
Yes.
They can't
Uh-oh. Could that be Joker gas?
What? I thought they were just, insubordinate or
So the Joker, again, look, this is fine. The Joker can do this kind of stuff because he's pretty smart.
Yeah.
And he takes and cops are real dumb in these comics,
Yeah.
Damn it. Hey, what happens? So there you go. Joker gets away with it. He takes Gordon in. I love this next page on page 3. Batman just swinging down. This was at a time, for those, again, unfamiliar, we're just for the uninitiated. Like most of you guys here know this kind of stuff. Batman would just, much like Spider-Man, he was just swinging everywhere.
Right.
But on a little bitty thread. And I always thought that was kind of funny. It works for Spidey. But for Batman, it's more like, actually, I hate to say it, it was actually better when they came up with the winch contraption thing.
Right.
Him riding around in the Batmobile and the stuff. But what are you going to do? This is 70s and 80s comics. So Batman swings in. And I'm sorry, dude. I just cannot get enough of this Joker car. I love it.
It's awesome, yeah. Well, they gave an excuse in this issue because they did flash the bat signal. So he was on his way. And the reason they had called him was, you'll find out in the next couple of pages. So they kind of gave a reason. It wasn't super random. It was like,
oh, no, it wasn't random. I'm just saying he's always swinging on these ropes. So you're absolutely right. I was going to say that he was on his way. Batman realizes that something's up, so he puts his respirator thingy on because he's the Batman. He's the smart one.
Yep.
And ends up in a fight with Joker thugs, and as he thinks to himself, that's another thing about the Joker that hasn't changed. His iron muscle is still as inept as ever.
Yeah.
Well, compared to you, Batman, you know.
I love how Joker's like, we're gonna need a new window. Like, why couldn't you use the door? Like,
use the door. Yeah, he's the jokester. Isn't it nice to see just a Joker? When we talked about this when we did Batman Hulk, a Joker that yes, he's evil and all that stuff, but he's not scary. I mean, scary evil, but he's not like revolting. Like they have to make him so gruesome, and like just repulsive now, and all these modern shite.
Yeah, well, they turn him into a serial killer who tells jokes that aren't funny, as opposed to a madman who tells jokes that are funny. And I think that was where that's where they stepped wrong for me. I mean, I kind of like Jack Nicholson Joker, where he was kind of funny, like as
he was funny.
After that, I really haven't liked any of the Jokers, to be honest. And I know that's like a super hot take, but they haven't really been Joker. So.
Heath Ledger wasn't really funny. It was just scary, and he looked like somebody slammed his face into a Mary Kay cabinet. I can't stand that crap. I mean, the movie's all right, but I don't really like. I mean, Ledger's performance is fine, but it's not my kind of Joker.
Yeah. Oh, he's scary, and for what that movie was, he was great. But that's not the Joker. Yeah, that's the problem. It's not really the Joker. Like this is actually my definitive Joker.
Yes.
Yeah, the look, this purple, the green, the hat, and everything. Like this is kind of like Superpowers Joker, basically. Superpowers is like my whatever the character looked like in Superpowers toys. That's the definitive version for me.
Same here, exactly. So he gets away with Gordon, and it's hilarious because he's got that car. I just love the damn car, dude.
Batman makes fun of
the Joker car.
He's like, "What an outrageous car!" And that's Batman, who's got a Batmobile, and he's saying this car is just too out there.
Yeah, he mentioned it being a ridiculous car.
Yeah.
So Joker gets away with Gordon, and the cops did mention that they were looking for Batman. They called him in because they recount how Robin has been taken because he fell for a stupid trick by the Joker.
Right. Now, how did the police know the details of how this went down? Like, I can understand them saying,
I don't know.
We heard reports that Robin's been taken, but not to this detail of like, oh, he was driving, there was this damsel in distress, he stopped, it was really the Joker. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I don't think the Joker told them. I don't think he did.
I don't think he would have.
This is and I've talked about this the other night on our good buddy Nick's show that we're doing Friday nights, the comic shop show. We're reviewing Nova right now.
Right.
From 1976, and Marv Wolfman on the writing. The writing is really. I mean, look, I love the comics. One of my favorite comics. I still love it. But when you grow up and you read it like 45 years later, the writing is so bad, and it's such terrible purple prose, and it's so the exposition, and I mean, it's cringy beyond. And it's still a lovely, wonderful comic that we love. We're having fun with it. Don't get me wrong. This is not quite that level. Lynn was better than Marv, in my opinion. But the thing is, it's still editors, and it depends on who your editor is. Marv was self-editing. This has Paul Evans. It's a little bit better, but still, that is exposition. That's them talking down to their 12-year-old readers. But to be fair, their reader demographic is 8, 12, 8, 9, 12. So they'll do a page of exposition with panels. So that's what comic books were for. That's what they were aimed at. A lot of people will read that and make fun of it now for read modern comics. And I'm saying these editors and these people, they're not like these modern people who make Marvel or DC comics. They know first of all, they're a business.
Yeah. They
know who have to cater to. They know who they have to target in their demographic. And they think, now that doesn't mean you should talk down to your audience, but they think they like to be clear so that a 6, 7, 8-year-old can read it and a 12, 13-year-old will read it. And anyone else reading it beyond that age, it's on them to go, wow, that's kind of silly. Well, of course it's silly. It's editorial stuff.
Yeah, target audience is not a bad word. Like now they try the negatives of today is that they try to appeal to everybody and it's just not possible. And then you end up just kind of like, appealing to nobody because it's like
that's what happens in that.
Right. Yeah. Like nobody cares about it. This at least is fun. Plus the storytelling is still cool.
The art and the cartooning is just superb. Simonson is a great storyteller.
And it moves it's like, okay, we get it. Joker's going to kidnap these people. Let's get on with it. It's not going to be like today they would do that. They would take these few pages.
7 pages. They'd be talking.
Right. It'd be all talking. And then it'd be like Joker kidnapping someone every other page. And at the end, he would have kidnapped his victims. And then we would have had to wait till issue 2 for anyone to show up. And here we've got Batman already on the scene and kind of figuring stuff out.
Started.
So,
and to bolster your point, here you go. There's a page where this at this point, for those who don't know, Batman, Bruce Wayne was living in a penthouse apartment. Robin was at college. He wasn't really staying at Wayne Manor anymore. Lucius Fox was just a businessman buddy. Yeah. Alfred's there, and Selina Kyle would actually visit him in her. So here, what you just talked about that would take the whole comic to tell. Yeah. They do it in pretty much one page.
It's literally one page, and
yes.
then boom, right at you see the whoosh, right, and it's like
they're sitting in there. Yeah, the Joker comes in, whoosh. In fact, not even a whole page. The action starts up to the end of the page. Again,
right, but yeah,
it's really terrific art. And Joker breaks in, and he actually even is kind of. I thought it was interesting the part where he expresses some professional courtesy, villain courtesy to Catwoman.
Yeah,
like, I didn't know you were doing this. I
apologize for interrupting a caper that you might be involved in.
Yep.
It's like, sorry, Catwoman, but
exactly. Well, of course she's hot, so he's probably he's only human. But anyway, so Catwoman takes decides to fight, and Joker's just too clever. My dear Selina, I profusely apologize if I have accidentally interrupted a caper of your own. Accept these roses as I'm going to do it like the Filmation Joker voice. Accept these roses as a token of my sincerity.
Boom.
I'm sorry, everyone. I can't help it. I keep thinking when I see this Joker, and I love him. Sometimes I think of the Ted Knight voice.
Yeah.
Larry Storch, too, by the way, on the Filmation cartoon of the 60s. So, Joker, what's up to a bat boob? You on point, Blender?
Yeah, bat boob.
So anyway, I love it. He's got a boxing glove in his in the roses.
Yeah. Well, he's attacking a woman. This is look at what a despicable character he is.
What a rotten. Yeah, he's a rotten SOB. At least this Joker's still rotten now, and he's not nice.
Yeah,
as we'll soon discover. And then anyway, so Selina's okay. Batman shows up, and says, "Hello, Selina. Joker never makes it easy, does he?" This is, and I think we may have touched upon this when we spoke of Batman last and the Batman Hulk team up. This is not angry, 2 billion times angry Batman. He's typical, he's Batman, but right. He has not yet become the just loathsome, Batman to the point where he just wants to make you want to shoot yourself by looking at his face. Well, he's always angry and he's always just down in the dumps. There's still some, I don't know. I mean, that's the guy that hangs out with, because Frank Miller took it too far. The animated series at least held it back a little bit.
Right. My preferred Batman is just a serious take, like where he's just being serious, because I feel that any emotion is wrong. So them saying, he's all scarred and he's angry. Okay, he can be Bruce Wayne and be all angry later, but when he's in the Bat costume, he needs to be like perfectly sound. To me, it's like more like a ninja. Like he shows up, he has no emotion. He's just, figuring out the facts and going on. This idea that he's angry and punching guys 100 times, like in that latest film. And he's all, I'm like, yeah, but why are you acting like this? Like, that's not Batman. That could be Bruce Wayne, and maybe you're feeling that inside, and that's what you feel. That's fine. But when you're Batman, you should be perfect. I don't like this idea that he needs to get better. Like when he's the Batman costume, then he's Batman. He should be good. He should be a ninja. He's collecting facts. He's figuring stuff out, and he moves on.
He's more pragmatic and not less of the angry crap, which gets on my nerves. That's why I love this Batman better. And he's all business, but even then, he's not like completely devoid of any kind of joy at all.
Right.
It's just, because remember, he did raise a boy. He did have a lot, he had Alfred, he had friends, he had the Justice League, he had people like that. So he's not totally alone.
Yeah.
Anyway. So we cut to in the next panel that we get to the clown's hidden hacienda. Oh, he's got Robin, he's got Commissioner Gordon, he's got Alfred, and I don't know who this other dude is.
I don't know. I was going to ask you if you knew. There's a bunch of random characters that show up in here. I'm like, who are these guys? Like, wait, is that the? Oh, it looks like the hench. Oh no, it's not the henchman. I was going to say, it almost looks like it's the same guy, but he's got greenish hair and the other guy's got blue hair. But they've got the same jacket on. I'm not sure who that other dude is.
Someone, Hey, Dave travels through time. Welcome. Good to see you there. Thank you all for being here with us. So
your favorite page
we're
is
coming to
coming
my
up.
favorite. This is, as we all know, a tradition with the Joker is that he's so nuts. He likes to just waste. For the fun of it, he'll waste a henchman
Right.
for the slightest provocation. In the Englehart Rogers Detective, I don't know if you remember that one, where this guy. So what are we going to do next, Joker? One of his guys, and he starts telling me, and he puts his arm around, and he goes, "Oh, so whatever his name is," starts telling him what he answers his question, and he says, "By the way, mind your own business." He pushes him out in front of an approaching truck. In Batman Hulk, he throws a rose back to one of his unsuspecting henchmen who catches it. There's a thorn that, with Joker venom in it, it kills him.
Yeah.
We all know in the '89 movie, Bob gun. Again, but this one takes the cake for me. If you'll pardon the pun, it's a pun because it's a cake right there. Anyway, so Joker has everybody strapped on this big, again, very much like the old TV series type thing, on a big birthday cake, and he makes a stupid joke. While all of Gotham watches, it's not exactly the catcher's mitt I really wanted, but it's a pretty fair second place. And the other hits were smart. They're laughing. This dumbass is thinking to himself, sheesh. And you don't want to sheesh the Joker, even inside your own thought balloon.
Yep.
So I don't hear you laughing, Sidney. Oh, geez, boss. I'm sorry. I guess I forgot. And you're about to forget how to breathe as well. No, Joker, please. It was an accident. It won't happen again. You can't. Don't be preposterous, Sidney. Of course I can. He shoots the gun thingy. And of course, and boom, it says, bang, you're dead. You know, the old gun stick joke. No, you. Oh, sheesh. What a joke. It's not a real gun. And oh, yes, it is, Sidney. It's a spear gun.
Oh, that's great.
You're out of your mind, Joker. Gloriously so. Isn't it wonderful? That's it's priceless. I love that scene.
Yeah. And it's so random.
Yeah. Yep. I think that's why it stuck with me. This scene always made me chuckle. I would think about it every now and then. So anyway, we move along in our story, and
they kind of had that in Batman '89 as well when he shot himself, and then it was like when he was on the roof dancing with Vicky Vale, and he's like, "Oh, I just can't go on," and he shoots, and it's like a fake thing.
Yeah, the fake. Yeah, they did have that. Yeah. So if I were sane, it might not be so brilliant. And so Robin's taunting him, "You can't make this work. Will you find an audience willing to watch you murder us?"
Oh, this is so funny.
This is ridiculous. This is so fun. I love it. This is ridiculous. You've already. Oh, that's already accomplished in today's late edition. I just did psychology. If there's one thing nobody can resist, it's a free sample. Sounds tempting. Want to go? Why not? The beach is sitting through another rerun of Celebrity Bowling. So now my question is, a free sample of what? Do you know?
I think it's supposed to be some baked goods or something, because it's the Harley Quinn baker shop or something, baking company. And I'm like, look, it's they said this in South Park. It's punch and pie or whatever. It's like people will come if there's punch and pie.
I like on this paper, there's a headline right under it says Levitz to hospital as Paul Levitz. Wow. A very generous offer, except for one detail. The Harley Quinn Baking Company does not exist.
Oh, Joker, you messed up. And
he says the Joker has finally made his first mistake. Of course he didn't make a mistake. He knew Batman would.
Right.
So
how did he know that Batman was going to think that baking shop thing, because that could have just been some other fake ad, right? So
it's a bakery show. I don't know. I guess you tell me. Batman is the world's greatest detective, though.
Yes, and he knew something was up.
Yes. By the way, everyone, hey Sean, what's up?
Hey, Sean.
See you. Every now and then I'm looking at the other screen, so I don't see the chat as much. Everyone, but just so you'll know. Anyway, so here we go at the Harlequin Bakery Show.
Yep.
At the Coliseum, Gotham's spectacular new Seaside Coliseum. a bakery show. Isn't it convenient that they happen to be having a bakery show, or did he just put that on himself?
I think that was his whole thing. Like, it's like, well, he did bake a cake. It's free samples of the big cake that he made.
He took over a whole Coliseum.
Yeah, I think Joker's a really, really nice guy. Like, this is great. You know, it's going to feed all these people free samples, and it's this is fantastic.
Look how many people got to show up. I mean, he said it was tomorrow's edition or whatever, and that many people showed up that quick because they were going to get what? I mean, it's comic book logic 101. It's hilarious. Just you got to kind of just forget about it.
This is like I know you're not a horror guy, but there's a movie called Demons by Lamberto Bava and produced by Dario Argento, where they give free tickets to this movie theater and then they lock them all in, and then there's like demons in the theater kind of a thing. Oh. So it's like, and I'm like this, like I'm like, oh my god, they stole that from this. But I don't know if that movie came out before, but I'm like, this is exactly what happens.
Really?
I'm like, you get in there and then they shut the doors. You're like, oh shit, you're trapped in here.
I do know a little Argento, and that could have come out before this, and Lin WEIN might have seen the film. I mean, comic writers did used to take things from other sources. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
And Lin WEIN is very brutal in his prose when he says, "And like lemmings, they come lured by the promise of something for nothing. People who've chosen to ignore that wise old adage, there's no such thing as a free lunch." The Coliseum is completely filled. That's pretty. Wow, that many people. Man, Joker, look, you should have you could have made a lot of money on that.
Somehow. Yeah, he could have just charged everybody or stolen their money or
could have robbed everybody. Yeah. Then abruptly along, he hits him with this gas, which freezes everybody.
Right.
He must have got that from Luther. I mean, it actually makes. I'm just saying, it's pretty. I mean, who came up with this? A gas that freezes everyone. Their eyes are. I mean, they're awake. It's not like they put to sleep. They're gonna. The paralyzing fumes spread swiftly, and within seconds there is no movement within the sprawling hall, save the frenzied beating of several thousand frightened hearts. Suddenly, the house lights begin to flicker and dim, and there is darkness. So they're all sitting there, terrified of the dark. They can't move. That's paralysis. I mean, that's pretty potent stuff.
Yeah.
And yes, who knew baking shows were so popular?
They were. Well, there's a lot of cooking shows, so I don't know.
I guess to hell with wrestling or football or baseball. Just hold it then at the a baking show at the Coliseum. I mean, yeah, but they're sitting there though. It's not like it's a convention thing. There people are walking around. They're just like they're going to sit there and watch the dude bake or something. I don't know. Anyway, what do I know? And then
I guess I didn't see. Like, was there curtains? We never really saw it. Like, was there an unveiling or something? Oh yeah, I guess there was an unveiling. Yeah,
maybe so. Yeah,
they didn't see the cake up there.
I guess they didn't until now.
Yeah. So yeah. So here we go. Yeah. Okay. See, I think he just
welcome one and all, and thank you for coming to my party. I think I can assure you, surprises galore. Commencing now, the invitation promise refreshments after all. Oh, the invitation promise refreshments after all, and then boom, there he is. Yeah, and the Joker always delivers. I can hear Mark Hamill.
Yes.
Presenting for the first time on any stage, live or in color, that is, the cake to end all cakes, even as it ends the lives of my greatest enemies. Please save all your applause until the finale. So that's pretty impressive. He can freeze the whole crowd like that. I guarantee it will be worth. I'm sorry. One push of a handle detonator and the incendiary candles crowning my cake. And when they're burning brightly, I'll make a wish. Now, again, I don't want to be critical of Batman here, but you do have a whole crowd in danger.
Right.
You couldn't get on the phone to the Justice League and go, look, I know it's just my villain, my problem, but it's like a bazillion people in here. I mean,
yeah, this is
I can't take a chance. Right. You guys, Superman can just, well, I guess he's busy. But then again, that's what, when you're buying this comic at the age of, as I was, like, 15, whatever it was, 16, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what a kid thinks about. You're like, where the fuck is the Justice League? Damn it.
I think you buy comics based on most of the time you just buy it based on the character. Because, like, even when you're watching Super Friends, it's almost like any super friend can handle any problem, no matter what it is. So as long as they do it in their own way, right? So Batman will do it in a stealthy way and sneaky, where Superman might fly in and blow out use his breath or something. But like it's like it doesn't really matter what hero shows up. He's gonna get the job done no matter what. So,
but at this point, we've been conditioned by Brave and the Bold and DC Comics Presents and the Justice League, where they usually have a little help. But Batman, he's got Robin there; he can take care of it. You just got to get him down. So, anyway, don't be such a party poop. That's enough, Batman. The party is over. So. Batman shows up and lets himself be caught and rigged up to a candle. I just still don't know who all those people are.
Yeah, it seems like a lot more got added.
I think Lucius is there. Let's see who else is there. Is he there?
I can't tell.
No, he's not. Okay, well, these other people I don't know. And they're all, they're people that the Joker doesn't like, I guess. So,
right.
Yeah, what the hell? Anyway, so. Any comments so far before we?
Well, I like the fact that Joker's putting his leg on Batman to get a good balance to tighten up the. It's like, let me get that nice and tight. Like,
yes.
That's really funny. I don't know. I don't know why I found that so funny. Just because it's like a practical thing. Like, yeah, I need to like really get this tight. It's like, okay.
I like Sean's point here, which is just when you get lulled into a false sense of modern comics art being maybe okay, you then see a panel with Joker standing in front of a giant cake festooned with prisoners and realize modern art sucks. Yes, these modern kids, and I don't care if it does make it sound like the old folks sitting on the porch. It's true. They are nowhere near the caliber of artists and cartoonists of Walt Simonson and a Dick Giordano. Never.
Well, look at the page, the page that we're just the one above right now. Like, look how much is going on, how much story is being told in one page. This is my main point against, because art's subjective. My main point is that they can't do layouts properly and they can't tell a story properly with the image and text. So like this would have been probably 3 or 4 pages. It would have been Batman looking in, then it would have been Batman sneaking around, then it would have been Joker talking some more. Then Batman would have come through. Then Joker would have seen him. Then Batman would have tried to move. Right. And this would have been this probably would have been 1/4 of an entire issue of a comic that you're paying like $5, $6, $7 for, depending on where you are. We pay $6.50. And you're like, okay, I just like in that one page, it's like, yeah, there's Batman. We know he snuck in. There he is. There's Joker. Joker sees him. They're like, okay, I'll give myself up. Boom. Move on to the next page.
Absolutely incredibly well said, buddy. You're exactly right. They can tell with panel arrangement, layouts, a technique that could clearly delineate a story and what they're trying to communicate to you. Whereas you're so right. This a modern Marvel or DC comic, they couldn't do this story in whatever how many ever pages this thing is, like what 19 or whatever this thing is.
It's short. It's really short. And it's
very
fast.
short.
This would have probably guaranteed minimum at least 2 or 3 parter for sure. Because part 1 is the kidnapping. Part 2 is the setting up everything. Part 3 would have been the like him chasing the Joker after the fact. This would have been a 3-part thing for sure. And this, I don't know what the price tag was. What was the price tag on this? Like $1 or less than
it was. I think this was when they were already all the way up to the absorbent price of 40 cents.
40 cents exactly. So in Canada, it would have been like maybe 60 cents. So like in 60 cents, you're getting like all this action.
Well, these guys, again, they were trained cartoonists as well as, Walt Simonson was an excellent storyteller. And Dick Giordano was a consummate professional storyteller and editor. Paul Levitz was these are people that they're true. They were there to make comic books. Their true calling and their true reason for being there was not to make something that a few people would get their hands on, maybe like a niche thing. And it was all about movies. It wasn't about movies. It was about comic books, and that was their livelihood, and they were professionals. And Len Wein was a professional who wanted to write comic books all his life and wrote other things as well. These are actual comic book professionals, not children like we have now.
Right.
And they're very well trained as well. So Batman lets himself be festooned, as Sean put it, by the Joker. And then he gets rocketed. And again, why does he do this? Well, he's got a button. And what is the deal with this button? Do you
I have no idea what was going on.
Concealed button. The Dark Knight detective's candle suddenly begins to settle. Did he break in earlier and put it on there?
Yeah, my impression was that because he saw the ad was wrong, and he saw that evening edition or whatever, he snuck in there and figured something was going to go down, and he probably saw the cake, so he rigged it up or whatever. I'm not sure. Like this is a little bit weird. Like I think somebody just got lost in the translation here, where I'm like, where did this button come from?
At the press of a concealed button, the Dark Knight detective's candle suddenly begins to sizzle. The rocket skyward, then rocket skyward like a giant fireworks on the 4th of July. And so, Joker, you may have saved yourself, Batman, but you'll never save your friends. But even as infernal death crackles across the stage, the Batman explodes into action. So we don't see exactly how Batman gets out of the ropes.
Well, he unties him. Like, I mean, he's an escape artist, right? So he can untie himself.
He's fine. He's Batman. Nothing to say Batman can do that. He's Batman.
And then he jumps from one panel into another panel. I always like stuff like that. I know I'm a 90s guy. I like that kind of stuff.
I love it. Oh, dude, this is wonderful art. Yeah, this is wonderful panel arrangement, wonderful art. I love it.
So
that button have come from his utility belt. I mean, I don't know. He did rig it up. He had to rig it up, though.
Yeah. So I'm assuming
that's true, Matthew Pounder.
He's the greatest. Yeah.
Except for Mr. Miracle. Mr. Miracle taught him. Yeah. But you were saying?
So exactly. So he's able to get out and then boom, batarangs, and then
there you go. He says, couldn't risk trying to free Robin and the others while they were under the Joker's guns, but this is exposition for the reader, but I still got here early enough to rig my candles incendiary jets, turning the whole thing into a makeshift rocket. It was risky, but when you're up against the Joker, you don't have much choice. Thank you for thinking that to us, Batman. Your friends are going to burn, Batman, burn. No, Joker, not if I can help it. So Bats is free.
Yeah.
And he's throwing batarangs and cutting the fuses brilliantly. So he did it. Batarangs severed it severed the candles. Batman say this. Did you have a dowdy wood, sir? Says Alfred. That's again pre-smartass Alfred. And I love smartass Alfred. I'm just saying it was just more of a butler.
I don't like special forces or whatever he is.
No, I'm tired of that stuff.
I hate that because it's like, why would he take a butler? Why would he become a butler if he was like this freaking CIA agent or something? Like, it's like, I'd be like, no, like, why am I
right?
And it's just, I can't.
Having a military background is one thing, but they make him like super butler. I was like,
right, he's operator 5 or whatever from the Phillips. Sorry, I read that today, so I've got that on my mind.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean, but like, why don't you just get? It seems like Alfred would have been a better Batman. Like, just use Alfred as Batman in the beginning, and Batman.
He was Batman on Gotham. He was Batman.
Oh, was he Batman?
No, but I'm just saying he was Sean Pertwee, whom I love.
I love Sean Pertwee
and Gordon. He and Gordon were kicking everybody's head. I mean,
right.
He taught, and also I think Alfred taught all the stuff to Bruce on that stupid show. I don't know. I sat to that stupid show for 3 years, and I can't even tell you 2 years at least. For some weird reason, I can't even tell you why. It's a weird fascination to watching it, and it sucked. That was a waste of freaking time. Anyway, so he gets. I like how he can throw batarangs to slash ropes but not hurt the people. That's fantastic.
Oh, listen, he's a ninja. That's ninja tactics 101. That's
Robin's free. Yeah. And so,
well, it's no faker than him walking around and getting 100 bullets shot at him and none of them hit his face. So,
of course.
So
I'm fine with it. I just laugh.
It's like
it's always nice to see that version of Robin and Batman together.
Robin. Yeah.
Anyway, this, as is usually the case, Joker goes on the run.
Yeah.
I may be crazy, Batman, but I'm not stupid. He who fails or runs away lives to win another day. Blast him. And so this is, again, the typical, this is kind of a standard ending back then between Batman and Joker, which is the way it always should be, really. They get it. They fight. Oops.
something happens. They're like, oh no, is he really dead? It's like, yeah, he's dead. That's it. This was the final appearance of the Joker.
Yes, he's dead. Or Joker. He gets a kick. He gets a kick in there. You know, they fight on the motorboat. Great art. And then, of course, he grabs the Joker's hand, but it's fake because that's Joker.
And that happened in '89 as well. Holy shit.
Yeah.
My God. There's like 3 or 4 things that happened in '89. That must be a coincidence. I seriously doubt that they use this as a template, but like that's just a lot of things. But it showed that movie actually had Jokerisms in mind. It's like, yeah, that's a Jokerism. He has a fake hand, or he has a weird gun or something, right?
Linrod. Well, that wasn't by chance. You know, Sam Hamm wrote part of that script, right? And Steve Englehart also worked on part of that script. He just never got credited. And they had all kind of comic stuff there because Sam Hamm got accused of by Englehart by stealing. And there's a big long. This is another story for another time. A lot of controversy about how he stole a whole bunch of stuff from Englehart's Batman stories. And so Sam Hamm read comics. I would not be at all surprised if the stuff in there was from these comics.
Okay,
in fact, I believe they were.
Yeah, there's at least 3 or 4 things that we pointed out. Like we're like, yeah, that's from the movie. That's from the movie.
Well, that's Sam Hamm. Tim Burton sure didn't know what the hell anything about comics.
No. Well, I know both those Tim Burton movies took from the Adam West Show because Penguin being mayor.
Yes,
Joker
they did.
doing
That's
the
true.
paintings, like all of the schemes, like the chemicals and the schemes and all that. Remember when Joker was an artist in the Adam West one, and like
that's
all that
Sam
stuff.
Hamm, I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, yep. And anyway, yeah, this is the way it should be. The Joker blows up, and we know he's going to come back.
Yeah.
Again, I love that panel right there with that shot of the Joker. Do you think he's really gone this time, Batman? Believe me, Commissioner, I'd like to think so, but by heart of hearts, I doubt it. Of course not. See, that's what idiot Tim Burton didn't learn in the Batman '89.
Yeah.
He let him fall on the concrete. He said, no. You let him fall in the water or something.
Right.
And that's the way the Joker's supposed to be dealt with. You don't let him fall on the freaking concrete and die like that. Idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, my 2 negatives are Joker dying and Joker being the one who killed the parents. Those are the 2 big flaws.
I hate both of those. Jack Napier. Ugh.
Yeah, that was the 2 big flaws of that movie.
I was surprised. We were joking before we found out his name was Jack Napier. We were saying, watch, his name's going to be Joe Kerr.
Oh, my God. That might have been funny if they were actually going to do
funny, but wow.
It's like Joe Kervinsky or something, or I don't know.
Joker. Yeah, so any thoughts about Batman 321, Jay?
Well, that's awesome.
What did you think of this comic?
I thought it was great. I love if it's Blue Batman, it's already going to be like 9 out of 10. And if Robin's in it, then it's just 10 out of 10. Blue Batman. Yeah. Robin, like Batman's my second favorite character. Robin, I love Robin. As a kid, I loved Robin more than Batman, even just because I thought he looked really cool. I loved I usually I don't like, kids in comics or movies. Even when I was a kid, I didn't like kids. But for some reason, Robin, I just felt mostly from the Adam West Show that like he did so much and he solved a lot. Batman would always ask Robin, like, Robin, what do you think? And Robin would come up with something. You're like, oh my God, yeah, that's the answer. So it's like, I love Robin. I love these comics. I bought Batman comics based on covers. So this is when I was a kid and I didn't really have a way of collecting every issue that came out. Right. I just kind of I would go to the convenience store. That's when you had the newsstand, right? You can go to you just go to your drug shop or whatever and maybe have comics. So if Batman and Robin were on the cover, then I would buy it.
Yeah.
The first issue of Batman I ever bought was the Millennium Week, where it's like it's a white cover with all these like pink energy shots.
I remember.
Yeah, that was the first, because I was like, oh my God, Batman and Robin on the cover. I'm like, I must have this.
I remember the Millennium crossover thing. I don't remember exactly that cover, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's where so this cover here, this would have been an instantaneous purchase. Like had I been, this was 1980, so I was like 3 when this came out, so I wouldn't have had access to this. But I would have bought this immediately. So when you were doing your stream and you're just like, random Batman comic, I'll do it.
Batman.
Like, sign me up. Any one of these random ones, just
79.
Sign me up.
I keep saying 80, but it's 79. Sorry.
It's 79. Yeah. Okay, so I would have been 2. So yeah, there's like, but this is just so cool too, and I like that what's on the cover actually happens.
Well, it's
Um,
dated 80, but it came out in December of 79. I was just making sure.
right.
So it's go with 80. What the hell? It's dated 80.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the fact that what's on the cover is actually what's happening inside. That's cool. I also like,
That's a good thing. Yeah. And
yeah,
rare.
and rare. I don't like these modern. I don't want to sound like an old man because I still buy modern comics and I think some of them are okay. But I don't like the mentality of let's just have like an what I call an action pose. I call it AP. It's like we've got this action pose of the
Right.
hero. You're like, okay, what is this comic about? Like, and actually, Sean pointed this out in his video that he posted today about Action Comics, the latest issue. They have a picture of Superman, and he doesn't even wear the Superman costume in that comic, and he hasn't worn it for about 6 or 7 issues, so it's a lie. And I'm
Right.
like, why are you even lying about it? I'd rather have something
Oh,
like this where, and I know people say don't judge it by the cover, but it's a comic. I did judge by the cover. I would look and be like, this looks cool. I'm gonna buy it, and you got what you paid for. You got a complete adventure. You only spent 40 cents, which is whatever it was for your, your allowance at that time. If you're mowing lawns or whatever you're doing. And I think you got a lot. I think for 40 cents, you got a lot of great art and great action. And I don't think dollar to page count now, you're getting anywhere near the value that you're getting back then for any of these comics. You can take any random one you want, like fucking any Batman or Superman, you're like, yeah, this is awesome, right? Compared to what you're getting dollar per page now.
oh yeah.
So,
Eric K, what's up, bro? Good to see you, man. Hope you're feeling better. But yeah, like Sean, we said, am I misremembering or did Millennium suck? Whatever happened to the characters introducing that? Yeah, I thought it sucked. I couldn't. It was another one of those lousy, useless crossover jokes. Yeah, I remember not being particularly fond of it. Now that you mentioned that, Sean. So yeah, this was. I mean, dude, this is my era too. I mean, this is just. I loved it so much. I remember buying this. I must have read it like 5 times the first day. I was so excited about this comic for some reason. I mean, that's why it stands out now. Even though I have not read it until this past couple of weeks, I had not read it since 1979 or whatever.
right.
But maybe that's why it stuck with me so much because of the creative team on the sadly late Len Wein and of course Dick Giordano and Walt Simonson. Maybe that's why it stands out. Great Garcia Lopez cover. Yeah, just thoroughly, silly, great, fun comic. This is when comics had one job: fun.
Be fun, yeah. And I think people can learn a lot from it without having to, like, I don't like the theory now is that, oh, this is silly, it must be garbage. It's like, okay, so maybe certain aspects are silly, like Joker's got the woman's face and he pulls the entire mask off and it's his Joker face
Yes.
underneath, right? And we saw in the Hulk Batman one where it's like Batman's got like a face over top of his cowl or whatever. It's like,
Oh yeah.
but I mean, you don't dismiss the entire thing. This is the primary problem of any modern thing, whether it's movies, TV, comics, is that they look at the old thing and think it's cheesy or stupid or whatever, and then they ignore the entire thing. It's like, well, look, you can say that aspects of this were a little bit goofy, but pay attention to the panels, pay attention to storytelling, pay attention to art, pay attention to flow. Page to page. What am I getting out of this page? What do you want me to feel at the end of this comic? Do you want me to feel that I got my money's worth out of this comic? Do you feel, should I feel cheated? Like half the time I feel cheated when I finish reading comics because I'm thinking, wow, I just spent $6 and really nothing happened in this comic. And they do it with TV shows as well. It's not just comics, it's all this stuff. And going back to this is super refreshing because I will say this, I do like having the original comics if I can, but if I cannot have the original comic, I don't mind digital because at least I have a chance to read these comics. And I almost wish that comics weren't worth as much as they are because some of them, like this comic here, I don't know what a price tag would be on it on a modern day. Like maybe
And
it's
this
like
one, not too much.
maybe like a buck or let's say it's like a couple of bucks or something,
Right.
right? So, okay, so this one's not too bad, but then at some point you can't get runs, right? Like number 349 will be the first appearance of somebody or whatever. And then now you can't get that one, right? But at least digital, you can go back. And I think it's an embarrassment. I think reading these old comics, it's an embarrassment to today's comic industry who can't really tell stories. The writers are brutal, and I love the '90s. I know you don't like the '90s, but at least
No.
the '90s came from people who liked these comics and respected the creators. So that was the last era for me that was like that had any kind of respect for what came before it. Basically, after that, it's all like, oh yeah, we know what we're doing. Everything else sucks.
Oh,
And
look, there was still an industry within the '90s. That's not. I mean, the industry wasn't the joke that it is now. No, of course not.
right. Well, at least there was respect. Like those guys respected these creators and looked up to them and said, "Oh wow, I wish I could be as good as them." And they tried, and maybe they weren't as good as them, but they tried. Now it's just like, well, we don't even need to try. As long as Batman's on the cover, that's good enough. That'll sell the copies we need to sell to keep the IP ready to go, and we'll make a movie and it'll make hopefully $1 billion, and everybody will retweet it and whatever.
Absolutely. Well, very, very well said. All of that. See, this comic here, like a lot of the comics of the era, of course, it is a relatively simple, straightforward story. Yeah, there's silliness to it because it's a comic book, but of the time, and in the nicest, in the best possible way. But I cannot stress enough. The other, again, as I think I mentioned to you the other night, where on Nick's Friday Comic Shop show, we're reviewing the first 12 issues of the comic
Nova.
from the '70s, Nova. We did the first 4 the other night. We're going to do them all over the next couple of weeks. Now, I love that comic. It was in my heart and soul. I've always loved the character of Nova. I had not read it since they first came out. I don't even have the issues anymore. I just got a trade of it. But I love the character. But it's been we're talking almost 45 years or so since I've read it, or maybe 40. Maybe if I reread it again later until it's been certainly since the early '80s since I've read it. In other words, so there's a difference between reading it as a 12-year-old, reading it when you're pushing 60, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
So you're going to see it through a different eye. What was interesting about that is, going back, because you got to be fair. Look, you got to call balls and strikes, as they say. You've got to be fair. You've got to you make allowances for the time it was written, and that needs to be done. And people today, a lot of people today don't understand how to do that.
Correct.
You do that, but also your critical eye should come into play. Hey, Mark D, what's up, bro? And my critical eye came into play on those Nova issues, and I got to tell you, the scripting in this one has a few silly points, but Lynn is way better than his best buddy Marv. On those Nova issues, I mean, the cringe will make your head blow up on how bad so much of it is, the story and the scripting. And yet, the art by John Buscema and Joe Sinnott on those first 2 issues of Nova, and then Sal Buscema and Tom Palmer on the issues 3 and 4, still hold up. And a lot of what you were just talking about are true about those as well. Great cartooning in the sense that it's great visual storytelling. It looks good. It moves well. It's great fun action. It's definitely pleasing the demo it's aimed at. And if you were there, you can certainly read it. And even though you laugh at it the way it's written now, you feel certain love and nostalgia for it. Those are great comics. This is a lot like that. There's nowhere near. There's nothing really super cringy in this. We chuckle at some of the stuff and joke about it, but it's not like that Nova book. But it's very much the same. Visually, it's just incredible. The best thing about this comic, like that one, like we were talking about from the other night, is its visuals and and this is a visual medium. And the visuals in this one are just by WEIN and by Simonson and Giordano are nothing short of spectacular. From the great cover by Garcia Lopez. Again, look, I mean, the setup, the art structure, the first page tells you more on one page with an opening top panel and a big splash beneath it than any modern comic ever dreams of, that it could ever communicate to you.
Yeah, I think that, like you saying, oh, it's a comic, which is to say that, yeah, it's a cartoon, it's a strip, but in a larger story format. Whereas now they think that they're making some great American novel or something, and they're like, oh, this is going to be a graphic novel, and I hate that term. And then they're like, oh, we've got to lay out the scene. It's like I'm not dumb. I understand the scene. Show me the scene can be set in one page, one panel, with a little bit of text. That's enough to set me up, and you don't need to meander around like this comic. I like. For me, and I will be critical if I need to be, but also I transport myself into the time period, and I think, okay, if I'm 10 or whatever age I'm supposed to be, well, here I wouldn't have, for this comic, I would have been like 2, but let's say I was like, I don't know, 6 or 7, and I'm reading this, I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like Batman fought Joker, he rescued Robin, there's this huge cake that's going to kill everybody. This is insane. Oh my God, and I would have been like, this was the best comic ever. And then you read the next one was going to be Captain Boomerang. and you're like, oh, it's like the next one's Captain Boomerang. Oh my God, I got to get this next one.
Yeah.
What's going to happen there? And you didn't really think too much about it. And that was okay. It doesn't need to be 10 out of 10 if you're giving it a rating. It could just be a fun comic that you enjoyed. And you probably had a fistful of these. Like maybe you had a couple of Batmans, you had a Superman, you maybe have a Green Lantern in your hand, or a Flash, or a Spider-Man or something. And you've got a bunch of these in your hand, and you sit down, you and your buddy went, to his place, and you sat down, you had a pizza or whatever, and you were reading these, and you traded, like you read yours, then you traded it with your buddy and he read his, and then you swapped back and forth, and you went home, you're like, I had a great time at my buddy's place because we watched a movie, had pizza, and read comics, and then that's it. Now it just feels like they're trying to tell you this great story, but in actuality, they're not telling you a great story anyway. It'd be different if after you read 7 issues in a trade paperback, you're like, wow, that was a fantastic story. Like, let's say Watchmen or something. It's not like you're getting Watchmen when you buy these trade papers. You're getting a story that could have been 1 issue, and you're like, well, this isn't really Watchmen. So what the hell took you so long to tell this story? I would prefer paying $1 or 50 cents or whatever and getting this comic than spending $24.99 on a trade and nothing happens. And you're like, well, I'm glad you got this out of your system, but what story did you tell?
No, good point. Very well made point again. Hello. Sean, I see what you're saying about that. I mean, did you see it through older eyes? But it's still the art is, it's funny how when I talk about how the story may suffer, and not on this so much, I'm talking about the Nova book, but the art was even better seeing it this time than it was before. Beautiful. And I love that book. I love those Nova books, but it was the art that stands out. Here, it's a fun, simple but fun story, but it's just, again, the art is a triumph. Look at this. Let's just go through it one more time a little bit here. Seeing Batman like that in action, just great stuff. So this is what, we should do this with some more of those comics from that era.
Yeah, you can randomly, because I have like everything digital. I'm crazy, right? So as soon as digital came out, I'm like, I will buy everything there is because then I can read it all. And I literally sit and just read. I do read some manga as well. So today I went through, I did some pulp stories. I reread this again. I did some Sensational She-Hulk now that, that She-Hulk's come out. So I never read Sensational She-Hulk by John Byrne, who I love, and you're not dying over as much, maybe.
I'm a fan of Byrne.
Okay.
I'm just also a critic of Byrne because he's done a lot of things I can't stand.
Yes.
And he's
yeah, well, that's okay. But yeah, no. So I read some of that, and then I read this, and I read some manga. So it's like I've got a lot on my plate to read, and it's fun reading all of it. And that's the whole point of it. And I haven't gone to new comics, even though I still collect new comics. I'm so behind on them. But I end up reading this because I'm sitting there thinking, well, for the next 5-10 minutes, do I really want to read this meandering thing, or do I actually started reading Action Comics, the latest one, and I did 3 pages of like, I'm going to read Sensational She-Hulk. I'm
blame you.
Like, stop. Let's go to She-Hulk. So
it's just so much more fun reading the old stuff. And let's take a look at. But first, we'll close up. I'll ask you: do you have any rating you'd like to give to this comic? You don't have to, of course. But what would you?
Would
you recommend it? And
hell yes. I mean, I'm critical. I'm critical. I've got my rating system, but I would say that. I would say it's like 9 out of 10. And the reason I'm giving it 9 out of 10 is that for the story, I would knock it a little bit because of the confusion of how he set up the rockets and a couple of weird things, right? With like the Robin flashback. How did they know that? So I'll ding the story a bit. The pacing was perfect. The artistry is awesome. The characters are all awesome. And my enjoyment. So that's how I do it. It's story, pacing, artistry, characters, enjoyment. It's called Space. You know it.
Nice.
So I give a ranking for each one. So the story, I'd give it like half, like 1 out of 2. And the rest I'd give perfect because the pacing was perfect. The art was perfect. The characters are awesome in this. And and the enjoyment is just what I feel. It doesn't have to be, it's just what I feel about it. And I felt really good. So I'm only digging it for story. So I give it 9 out of 10. That's how great
nice.
I don't know.
I love it. Now look, I mean, the story I give, I kind of, give it about a 6.5 to a 7, but the art, I give it almost a 10. I mean, it's like a 9.5, 10, something like that. So overall, I'll give the comic just for sheer love and entertainment value and great storytelling, I give it probably a 9. I mean, it's just wonderful. I love it. And as a bonus, would you like to see what comics came out the same month that comic?
Sure.
Let's just take a look at our good old buddies at Mike's Amazing World.
Oh, I love Mike's Amazing World.
Oh, I use it for my spinner rack videos when I was doing those and stuff, and I love it. Okay, so the same month that this lovely comic, Batman number 321, was released, we have. We'll just go quick here.
Daredevil, man, that's cool.
Daredevil 163. This is Miller. This is when Roger McKenzie was still writing it, though. But Miller's was early on the book. Oh, by the way, before that, over here, you see my mouse?
Oh yeah, I can see. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Hulk and Spider-Man. Yeah, what is that?
I have this big Treasury edition.
Oh, that's awesome.
Spider-Man and Hulk at the Winter Olympics. I have a big Treasury edition collection.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I didn't buy any of the Archies or the weird the MF Enterprises magazines. Yes, it was MF Enterprises. Don't blame me. I do have this Daredevil. I remember when I bought this. This Hulk thing. Excuse me, Daredevil versus the Hulk. Great stuff. And again, this was before Miller took over the writing. I never really bought this Howard the Duck comic much. I didn't buy Jughead. Sorry, folks.
No, I didn't.
I did buy this King Conan.
King Conan's awesome.
Didn't buy any of these. No, this I
Star
bought
Trek.
Marvel Super Special Star Trek the Motion Picture Adaptation, and wore that sucker out. I loved it so much.
Yeah.
Dave Cochran, Marv Wolfman, Dave Cochran.
Awesome.
Marvel Superheroes, a Hulk reprint, but I bought it.
Nice.
Marvel 2-in-1, naturally.
Oh, that's the best comic book of all time. So
I wasn't buying same old sort of Conan at the time, but I used to flip it when I would see it there.
I love Savage Sword.
I'd buy some Shogun Warriors I bought every now and then.
Yeah, Shogun Warriors.
Wasn't a regular for me. Spider-Woman was kind of crappy.
Yeah.
Spidey Super Stories I would look at, but I thought that's for kiddies. Star Wars Annual, got that. Chris Claremont wrote that one.
Awesome.
What If? I think I definitely got that What If issue. I did not buy All Out War. Probably should have. If I was older, I would have. And there, look at that. Batman 321.
There's Batman, yeah.
Some other humor books. DC Comics presents.
Yeah, I've got that one with Batgirl.
Oh yeah, love it. I have this Legion of Superheroes Blue Ribbon Digest. I have a big digest collection. Love those.
Awesome.
I bought the Superstar Holiday Special, of course, and the Flash. I was still buying the Flash at the time. I bought Jonah Hex. I love Jonah Hex, of course. I was buying Justice League at the time. I didn't buy any war. I wasn't buying war books at the time, but I really respect those now.
I never got into the war comics. Yeah.
This is one of the first. The Superboy #1 is actually one of the first direct sales comics. Great.
Oh, cool.
Superman, of course.
Superman, yeah.
Superman Family, I wasn't buying much. I got to admit at the time. I must admit, I wasn't buying Wonder Woman too often. But of course, Spidey. Look who's on there. Punisher. Spidey 202 with the rubber bullets using Punisher. Oh my God, did I love this Battlestar Galactica series?
Wow.
Marvel's Battlestar Galactica. I loved it, man. I was buying that. I was buying Captain America. I didn't buy Crazy. You know what? I loved Marvel Fun and Games. Did you ever see that?
No, what is that? Magazine? Is it just
you open it up. It's in a comic book format, though.
Okay.
But you open it up and it's got crossword puzzles and
oh my God,
every types of puzzle you could imagine. I loved it, man. I loved Marvel Fun and Games. I bought it all the time, and I would sit there and do the crossword puzzles and the word puzzles and all the other stuff and the picture. Yeah, it is what it says. Love it. Wasn't buying Ghost Rider. I was buying this though, the Hulk magazine, the color when it was in color.
Oh
there.
yes.
I wasn't buying this, but my buddy Mark DVC was definitely buying Micronauts.
Micronauts, yeah, big time. Yeah, Mark's already said in the chat. He's got.
I dumped She-Hulk.
Oh, Savage She-Hulk.
I bought the first issue. I'll think about this one. And then I stopped buying it. Thor, of course.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to find this Buck Rogers comic, which pissed me off at the time. I didn't get any of these. Awesome. Yeah, of course, it's Charlton. The art was not very good enough. Let's see. What? Blah, blah, blah. No. Avengers, of course.
Yeah.
Conan,
yeah.
Fantasy Masterpieces, starting the Silver Surfer, reprint. Good stuff. Okay. I'm still buying Hulk at this point. I'm buying a lot of comics at this point. Wow. I even bought Man-Thing. I bought Bizarre Adventures. I was naughty. You're not supposed to.
Oh.
2 reprint books, Marvel Tales, Marvel's Greatest Comics. I was still buying Rom. Of course, I love Rom. Yeah. I love Rom. Tales of Astonish, another reprint book, Submariner.
I actually have all the Tales to Astonish with Submariner in it. The original
reprint
Tales.
Oh, the original.
No, not reprint. The original Tales to Astonish. Everything from Namor on.
Nice. This is a classic beyond belief. X-Men. Well, what a month this was. X-Men 131. I bought this. This was, I think, isn't this Wolverine alone?
I don't. I think I have this one in physical form. I don't remember the. Oh yeah, it could be. Yeah, where he's alone. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that
classic.
was this one.
I think this was that one, or maybe it was a couple issues that. But again, it was Hellfire Club stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember buying that and just what a great comic. Action comics, adventure comics. I was kind of buying that sometimes. Hey, Batman, Brave and the Bold, awesome. Had to buy it. I was kind of just I was buying Green Lantern, but I wasn't liking the art at the time. Right. Never bought House of Mystery, Legion. Duh. What do you think? Think I was buying that?
Yeah.
Superboy. Yeah. You think I was buying that?
Yep.
Now I didn't buy the Super Friends comic at the time.
Oh, I had a few issues of Super Friends.
I wasn't buying that. Here was a cool Warlord.
Warlord is awesome, man.
Very cool stuff. Another X-Men reprint book here, Amazing Adventures. Yeah. Defenders. I think I was still buying Defenders at the time.
I might have that Defenders actually from buying it back. Like I love Defenders. I went back and bought a lot of them.
Oh, you probably do then.
I might have though because I know that cover. That's like a super famous cover for me. I'll give
everyone a guess. You think I was buying the Fantastic Four?
What's Fantastic Four?
Fantastic Four. And look, Iron Man has Hulk in it. Hulk's all over the place this month.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Strangely enough, I bought this Marvel Spotlight with Dragon Lord. Interesting character. Very weird.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
More Avengers reprint. Marvel 2-in-1. Master of Kung Fu. Buying those. I bought too many damn comics.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I was 15, 16. Peter Parker, this big Dracula, Spider-Man, Star Wars. I was buying Star Wars, not happy with the Infantino art. Didn't get beat the Battle of the Planets, but buddy of mine loved this one here, Billy the Kid.
Kid, yeah. I never got into the Western ones either.
I was working in the lab like one night, Boris Karloff. Wasn't buying any. Didn't buy any of these. So yeah, I bought me too many damn. I was buying too many damn comics, man. Too many comics.
That's quite a lot from what month was that? That was December, I think you said.
That was December of 1979.
Wow,
man, I bought me a lot of comics. Sorry, I wasn't looking at the screen, everybody who was talking there. So because I was looking.
Oh, so I think Mark D is saying 133 was the Wolverine on alone.
133 is right. Okay, thank you, thank you. Well, appreciate that. Oh my goodness. So what? Let's see. Oh, you got the entire Galactica run, says Decepticon. Man, I loved it, especially the Simonson issues. But man, I had a subscription. I remember I got for Christmas. My parents gave me a subscription to 5 Marvel titles, and I got. That was one of them because I loved it so much. I loved the show so much. I loved that comic. And then, of course, boom, they didn't finish the subscription because it got canceled.
I don't even remember Sean getting that Galactica. Maybe I don't remember if I was there with him when he got that because I don't remember him having that. But he's not allowed to buy comics if I'm not there. I need to know what he has.
like he said, yeah, the first couple issues adapted the first 2 episodes. The first episode, then the second episode. After that, they did standalone stories, and he's right. They were great, especially when Simonson sort of what. It was the first thing Walt Simonson was ever allowed to write. He was drawing the book, and then he was drawing the book with Mackenzie, I think, writing it, but then he took over. So,
awesome. Yeah, I just got that on Blu-ray, the old Battlestar. So I got to read. I started watching the DVDs. And I thought, let me just upgrade to Blu-ray right now, and then I just upgrade to Blu-ray. So
I've got the old Blu-ray, the old DVD set from 2001 or 2 that is in the shape of a Cylon head.
That's the one I had, yeah.
Nice.
But then I traded in for the Blu-ray because I was like, I read a lot of good reviews on the Blu-ray. You got to be careful if you upgrade because sometimes the Blu-ray transfers aren't that good. So you got to be careful before you order it. I always check Blu-ray.com and then it's like see what they're rating, and then I'm like, yeah, I'll get it. So I watched the first 3 or 4. I'm like, this show is awesome. I'm like, I should have the Blu-ray of this, and then I'm like, yeah.
Well, they gotta I don't know, it gotta be better than the stupid do or later DVDs.
Yeah,
I think actually, Sean, I think Miller did do some work before. I think he did do something before Galactica. Before he worked on a Galactica book, he did some covers on some comics. His first Marvel work, I can't remember exactly what it was. Anyway, well, dude, this has been fun. Any closing remarks on Dreadful Birthday, Dear Joker?
It's awesome. It's not 9 out of 10. I mean, my heart would just say 10 out of 10 just to say it. But
Wolfie,
critical me is still giving it a 9 out of 10. I think it's
that's
awesome.
fair.
It's like,
hey, Wolfie. We just reviewed it. You know, Wolfie is the feller. Remember that night when the idea came to be that we were going to do this?
Yep.
He was the one that had that. Coincidentally, I was talking about that comic. Then he mentioned he was given that comic book. And same.
Awesome.
That was crazy stuff there. Good to see you there, Wolfie. So I want to thank the great J-Man for being here with me tonight. What we're going to do is, of course, as you all know, this is only part one of tonight. I'm going to come back at 10 o'clock, which 11 Eastern, and do the this is tonight. This is August, of course. So August is Jack Kirby month on Clobbering Times, as it is every August. And so I wanted to do this review show first, so we did it earlier, and then of course I have something I have to take care of anyway in a little bit, and so that'll actually helps out. I can do it later. So in I guess in about an hour and a half, a little bit more than that, at 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, 11 p.m. Central, I'll be back on to kick off Jack Kirby month on Clobbering Times. It won't be on too long, probably. I don't know how long I'll be on, but it'll just be to kick it off, just so that it'll be the official start to to Jack Kirby month, of course, right? So
awesome.
Yep. And I want to thank all of you who have been here with us tonight. Thank you so much. J-Man, dude, we need to do it again soon. We'll grab a random one out of, and if you want, it could be a Batman or it could be whatever, man. If you think of one, you know, you're a big DC Comics Presents guy. You want me to pick out one of and we can do?
Sure.
That'd be great, man.
I've got most of them in physical form, and all the important ones.
Just the one I know which one I want to do too.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we'll do it. I've got it on digital and physical, probably, because I got all the big appearance ones, the He-Man one and all that stuff.
Dude, I know which one I want to do now. Damn it! Yeah, we're gonna. I don't know the issue number, but I'll tell you. I want to do the one where Superman and the Spectre.
Okay. Yep.
20-something is when it's Jim Starlin.
Yep.
Hungry Boy. Good to see you, buddy. Hungry Boy now popping in. So how's that?
Yeah, awesome. Let's do it.
Okay, it'll have to be after Kirby month, of course.
Yep.
However, since it is Kirby month, and I'll be reviewing a Kirby comic, a couple of different Kirby comics at some point. If I decide to do a Kirby comic review, I'll let you know which one, and I'm sure you'd be game to do something like that as well, huh?
That's my Kirby-ish shelf right there.
Nice.
Characters he created, or some of his covers and stuff. Fantastic for him.
Appreciate it, man. Well, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. Thank you all, everyone. Good to see you all, guys. Hope you all are able to come back later. If not, hey, shout out Chris Persia. Thank you so much. Eric K, Hungry Boy, Mark D with a C, buddy. Thank you. Matthew Pounder, Cal L, Lenrod, Wolfie, Decepticon. Hey, buddy, Matthew. I said Matthew Pounder. Who else was here? Let me see. Maddie's daddy.
Wolfie.
Yep, Steve Mitchell was here, and I think I got everybody, but
Eric was here. Eric K. Lenrod.
Yep. Dave Travels Through Time was here. Anybody I missed, I'll try to get you when I come back. When I come back later, because I can't. I don't know. I think I got everybody. Oh, Grim was here as well. Grim, I think I covered everybody. So again, thank you all so much, and I hope to see you here and to get Jack Kirby month kicked off. So. Until then, that'll be, of course, in about a little over an hour and a half. I will see you all soon. Good night. Good night, but the night's not over. Take care, everybody.